Hi, 5th grade. This is Ms. Skioka with your flipped math lesson for today, 5-5. Today's objective, we're going to be finding one-digit quotients. Remember, a quotient is the answer to a division problem, so it's going to just be one digit when the divisor is a two-digit number. You already know how to estimate quotients by finding with two-digit dividers, so today you're going to use that information to divide two-digit multiples of 10. And bigger. So what are the steps? Well, the steps for dividing these big numbers are, first we need to estimate. So we're going to be using those compatible numbers to estimate an answer first. That's going to give us a starting off point. Then we're going to actually divide, and after we do the division, we're going to double check using multiplication. Let's get started. Here's our first problem. A theater sold 428 tickets for a show. Each section in the theater holds 64 seats. How many sections are there? Well, let's find our important information first. It's going to be 428 tickets, and that there are 64 seats in each section. So we have to find out how many sections are there. So here is our problem. 428 divided by 64. First step, remember, is to estimate. So we're going to get some compatible numbers here. I'm going to start with the divisor because that's the number that's doing the dividing. And I need to find a compatible number for it first. So 64 is pretty close to 60. So I'm going to be using that as my compatible number. Starts with a 6. I'm going to be looking for this number to be a multiple of 6. So I've got 428. I know that 42 is a multiple of 6. If you know your 6's, you'll know that 6 times 7 is 42. So 420 would be a pretty good compatible number for me to use. Okay, so now I've got 420 divided by 60, and I can use all the tricks that I've learned, like taking 0 off the end by putting that into 42 tens and 6 tens, and then that leaves me with 42 divided by 6, and that equals 7. So probably my answer is going to either be 7 or close to 7. Now I can divide. So I have 428 divided by 64. So I'm going to take my first number there, 64, can't go into 42, so I'm going to have to put it into 428. I estimated it's going to be close to 7, so let's find out if 7 works. 7 times 64. 4 times 7 is 28. Put down the 8, carry the 2. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 2 more is 44. So that would give me 448. Uh-oh, I have a problem. 448 is bigger than 428. So that's not going to work. 7 is too big. So that means that it must be 6. So I'm going to change this. I'll change a few things here. And I think my answer is probably going to be 6 this time. So my estimate helped me get a close guess, but now I'm going to use 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 2 is 38. So now I have 384. Subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. I'm going to have to borrow. 12 minus 8 is 4. So it looks like 6 with the remainder of 44. Okay, there's my answer, 6 with the remainder of 44. Now I'm going to double check using multiplication. 64 times 6, don't forget that remainder of 44. I'm going to be adding that on. We always add on the remainder. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 2 more is 38. Add on that 44 remainder, and I get 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. 428 is what I end up with. 428 is the dividend that I divided first. Okay, so we got the right answer. Let's try another one. Find 330 divided by 42. What are the steps? Do you remember the first step? The first step is estimation. We're going to estimate 330 divided by 42. I'm going to take the divisor. I'm going to put it into a compatible number first. So 42 is really close to 40. Starts with a 4, so I'm going to be looking for multiples of 4. 330 starts with 33, but that's not a multiple of 4. 32 is a multiple of 4, though. So now I can do 320 divided by 40. You use my multiplication tricks or division tricks. Now I've got 32 divided by 40. Or sorry, 32 divided by 4. And that equals 8. So my answer is probably going to be 8 or really close to 8. Now that I've estimated, I can divide. 330 divided by 42, we said it's probably going to be 8. And why did I put the 8 above the 0? Do you know? Because I could not divide 3 by 42. I couldn't divide 33 by 42. I have to divide 330 by 42. The digits that are actually here are zeros. You don't see them, but they're really there. Okay? So now I have 8 times 42. If you can't, just do it in your head, like I can't. So just go ahead and write it down to the side on your paper. 8 times 2, 16, plus 1, carry the 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 more is 33. So then I get 336. Uh-oh, this is what happened last time. I can't subtract 336 from 330. That's too big. So I'm going to have to try a number that's smaller than 8. Well, I know it's probably going to be 7 then, because it was just a little bit bigger. So now I know my answer is probably going to be 7. So 42 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 is 29. So 294. I'm going to subtract. Looks like I'll have to do some borrowing. 10 minus 4 is 6. 12 minus 9 is 3. So I have 7 with a remainder of 36. Is my answer. I'm going to make sure that I add that remainder of 36 to the next page so that I'll remember to add that onto my multiplication when I double check. Okay, so I've got remainder of 36 that I'm going to add on. So double checking using multiplication. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 more is 29. Then I have that remainder of 36 to add on. 6 plus 4 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13. 2 plus 1 is 3. 330, and that is the number we started at in our dividend. All right, now it's your turn. So I'm going to have you do a few problems. I want you to try, remember, first estimate, then divide, and then double check using multiplications. Do all 3 steps, and then pause the video, do the 3 steps, and then come back and we'll check it. Here's our first problem. Number 1, 115 divided by 12. Our second problem, 243 divided by 31. Okay, that's going to be the only problems for today. Just 2. Let's see if you got it right. 115 divided by 12. So first, let's estimate the divisor. 12 is really close to 10. And then I have 115, so I'm going to find a number that is a multiple of 10. Well, that's pretty close to 120. It's closer to 120 than it is to 110. Well, sorta. So I could either choose 110 or 120. I'm going to go ahead and stick with 120 this time. Okay, so 120 divided by 10 is close to 115 divided by 12. So 120 divided by 10, I'll take off those zeros, and then I have 12 divided by 1. Well, that's going to equal 12. Remember today I said all the answers are going to be for a single digit, 1 to 9. 12 is not a single digit. So now I'm kind of wondering, maybe that was not a good estimation for me. Let me try doing a different one, because I know my answers going to be between 1 and 9 today, just for today. So let's take that back down to you know what, I can probably keep it 12 because I know my multiples of 12. So then I'm going to take 115 and I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that to 120. Okay, which is pretty close to 115. Now I have 120 divided by 12, and I know that that equals 10, because 10 times 12 equals 120. Okay, so I know my answer is probably going to be close to 10, but I also know that just for today my answers are only going to be single-digit quotients. So probably it's going to be the number that's next closest to 10, probably just going to be 9. So let me erase this so I can have some space. I'm estimating that my answer is going to be 9 or close to 9. So now I'm going to do my division and find out. Use 9, that was my estimate. 9 times 12. If you know your multiplication facts, you'll know that 9 times 12 is 108. If you didn't know that, then you could just do it over here on the side. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 plus 9 is 9, plus 1 more is 10, so 108. Subtract 5 minus 8. Looks like I'm going to have to borrow. 15 minus 8 is 7. 0 minus 0 is 0, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 9 with a remainder of 7. I'm going to double check using multiplication. So I've got 12 times 9. I already did that over there on the other side. So I've got 108. Then I add on 7. 8 plus 7 is 15. 1 and 1. 115 is the same number that I started with as my divisor. So answer is correct. Let's try number 2. 243 divided by 31. I'm going to start with the divisor and turn that into a compatible number. It begins with 3, so I'm going to be doing multiples of 3. So, multiple of 3. 243, look at those first two digits. 24. Is 24 a multiple of 3? Yes, it is. So I'm going to change this to 240. Then I can take off those zeros, and I'm left with 24 divided by 3, which equals 8. Okay, so probably my answer is going to be 8 or really, really close to 8. Let's make some space here and do our division. 243 divided by 31, we estimate it's probably going to be 8. So over here on the side, I can do my multiplication. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Ooh, I get 248, which is just a little bit too big. So if it's a little bit too big, that tells me my quotient was too big. It's probably 7. So now I'm going to take 7 times 31. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 217. 243 minus 217. I'm going to have to borrow. 13 minus 7 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. So I have 7 with a remainder of 26. I'm going to double check that and make sure that I'm right. So 31 times 7, oops, I guess I didn't need to erase that. 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 3 is 21. And then I'm going to add on that 26. 7 plus 6 is 13. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 more is 4, and then 2 plus nothing is 2. 243, that's the same number I started with as my dividend. So my answer is 7 with a remainder of 26. How'd you do? Did you get it right? Did you use estimation and then division? I hope so. Well, we're all done for today. Don't forget to bring your homework back to school and turn it in and get credit for it. Thanks so much. Bye.